Hi class. In this video here, what I want to do is I want to start walking you through your Module 14 case study. Now I'm going to break this lecture, these videos up into two parts. The first one is going to be for questions 1, 2, and 3, and the second video is going to be for questions 4, 5, and 6. They're just broken up into different parts. So to be able to solve these problems, make sure that you have StatCrunch loaded up, and then also I'm going to use a little bit of my TI graphing calculator here. Okay. So when you load up the case study, you're going to see these two surveys here. We have the graphics of these two surveys that were taken. And what we're going to do is we're going to analyze some information from these surveys. So it goes on to say questions 1 through 3 will use customer service survey results to examine confidence interval concepts and procedures. And questions 4 through 6 will use the results of a survey on texting to collect data and use it to execute a hypothesis test. Okay, so let's do questions 1, 2, and 3 together real quick. So this graph here shows the results of a survey of small business owners who were asked which business skill they would like to develop further. Okay, and you can see that they said, what business skill do you want to develop further? It's customer service, marketing and sales, financial management, decision-making, and negotiation, and then the percentages of each. So question 1 says, refer to the fine print in the graphic and answer the following questions. So you can see here they have the fine print here. They also have it listed here. So it says note multiple responses allowed, and it says a survey of 625 small business owners. Okay, so first off, how many surveys were administered? Well, you can see right there it was 625 surveys. So it'll help you with that one. I'll help you with this next one too. How would readers know multiple responses were permitted if it had not been stated? So if you look back here, if you could only select one of these options here, the percentages would be obviously different, and all the percentages would sum up. If you were to sum them up, they'd sum up to 100%. And you see here they don't. So since the percentages sum to more than 100%, multiple answers were allowed. And you can, obviously edit this so that you have your own verbiage here. Next, it says select one of the identified top reasons small business owners want better customer service skills. And it's a little bit typo, business skills, but that's okay. Based on the information in the graphic, provide an interval estimate for the population parameter for the reason you selected, and define the parameter and express the process you used to determine the interval estimate. Okay. So questions 1, 2, and 3 are going to have you select one of these, each one. I'd like to ask that you select different ones than I'm doing here. Just, you can see the way I'm doing it, but when you go to your own project, do it separately. Okay, do different ones. So I'm just going to select customer service. Okay, so define the parameter. So what's going on here is we're going to let P be the proportion of small business owners who want better customer service skills. Next, it's going to say, based on the information in the graphic, provide an interval estimate for the population parameter you identified. So I'm going to use StatCrunch for this. So you can go to Stat and load up your StatCrunch. Go Stat, Proportion Stat, One Sample, and it's going to with Summary. And it's going to want your number of successes. So if you look back here, 63% of 625. It's 300, and I'm going to round it to 394 people. Round it to a whole number here. So it's 394 out of the 625, and I want a confidence interval, and I'll just do 95 here. And I have it right here. The lower limit and upper limit is 0.59 to 0.67. 0.95 to 0.67. And that's just how you're going to construct the confidence interval. So describe, what I was doing there when you write yours, like how you were able to do that yourself. Okay. Question 2 says selects one of the reasons for wanting best customer service skills and business skills that you did not select in answer number 1. So I've already selected customer service. So next I'm going to select marketing and sales. Okay. For the selected reason, define the population parameter. So that's A. So I'm going to let P, the proportion, be the proportion of small business owners who want better marketing and sales. So identify N from the graphic. Well, N was 625, and P hat here you can see is whatever this proportion is here. It's or percentage. It's going to be 0.58. Next, it says determine if the distribution of sample proportions is approximately normal or not. And so the normal check is just N times P hat times 1 minus P hat. And that just has to be greater than or equal to 10. So if you were to just plug this in your calculator, right? N is 625 times P hat times 1 minus P hat. It checks out. So it's 125.25. Okay. Or 152, I'm sorry. All right, so you'll want to expand on this, from your notes and your reading. And so, because this checks out, the sampling distribution of sample proportions would be normally distributed. Okay. Next, it says use the values to determine the mean and standard error of the sampling distribution of the sample proportions. So the mean is just equal to P hat in this case, because that's all you really have. The average should be whatever the proportion is there. And the standard error, so there's a formula for that. It's square root of P hat, which is 0.58, times 1 minus P hat, all divided by N, so divided by 625. And you see this is 0.01, 197. 0.0197. Okay, great. Now questions 3. Select one of the reasons for wanting better business skills here again that you did not use for answers number 1 and 2. So I've used customer service, marketing and sales, so I'll do financial management next. It says define the population proportion for the selected region. Identify a point estimate for the true population portion. So again, let's let P be equal to the proportion of small business owners who want better financial management. I'm just going to put find manage there skills. And our point estimate is equal to P hat. So that's equal, in this case, it's 0.48. All right, determine the margin of error for your confidence interval. So again, I'm going to use StatCrunch here. So I'm going to go stat, proportion stat, one sample with summary. So again, you need to figure out, it's 625 times, and then it's 0.48. You get 300. So if you go into StatCrunch here, it was 300 out of 625, and I'll just do a 95. You can see here you have the lower limit and the upper limit for the confidence interval. So the margin of error is you would take your upper limit, which is 0.5191, and you would subtract your point estimate, which is 0.48. And the margin of error is 0.0391. So 0.0391. Okay, so just upper interval minus the lower interval. And then next, it just says identify the corresponding confidence interval. Well, again, that's just right there in StatCrunch. It's 0.4408. and it's going up to, again, 0.5191. All right, class, so you've seen me do the first 3 questions here. I'm going to follow this up now with a second video that talks about how you do the hypothesis testing questions for the next one.